Well, hello there. I'm going to give you a bit of philosophy today. Macrobiotic philosophy. Macrobiotics is a form of dietary practice, way of eating. And it's very simple this. It's eat local, grow your own, eat in season, eat organic, all the usual stuff really. And plant-based diet. So not exclusively plants, but mostly plants. Usual stuff really. So here's what I want to say about this. They have got some macrobiotic axioms, which is ways to understand life. And so, as I stand in this birch corridor of birch trees, I'll remind myself of what these axioms are. So here we go. Everything that has a front has a back. The bigger the front, the bigger the back. Everything that has a beginning has an end. And when anything becomes extreme, it turns into its opposite. So here we go. Let's have a look at some of these then. So everything that has a front has a back. I mean, the most obvious example is a coin or a note. But it's the same in life, isn't it? So with the film you made about Amazon and slave labour, there's an organisation that's got a front. It's got a very attractive front. Very good service, very easy to order things. Sounds great, doesn't it? But the idea is if everything that has a front has a back. So the backside of Amazon is the exploitation of the employees. Now, I find this axiom absolutely fascinating. The idea of everything having a front, having a back. Because the more you start to look into it, the more obviously true it is. So for example, enjoyment and suffering. Take a really simple and obvious example like relationship. Anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows that there's really great things to a relationship. Lots of wonderful experiences that you have when you're in a relationship with someone. So that's the front side. And there's a love, there's a connection, there's the intimacy, there's the sex, there's all these things, companionship. But just as much as you've got the front, you've got the back as well. And one of the main back side issues of being in a relationship is when you get triggered, when your stuff, your personal issues and your dark side come out. And you experience anger and all those other challenging emotions. So it's also the same with plants. So as much as I'm showing you the front of the tree. The front of the tree is everything growing above ground. What I can't show you, but you can imagine, is the back side of the tree, what is going on underneath the ground. And if this tree is 25 foot high, whatever it is, and the roots are going to be going that deep into the ground too. So everything has a front side and a back side. And the most obvious example of it is day and night, or hot and cold. You can go on and on with all these different examples of how it works. So that's that one, and then here's the other one. The bigger the front, the bigger the back. Now this ties in beautifully with a film about the slave labour with these big organisations, because if you've got a small organisation that employs a small number of people, the whole thing is a lot more manageable. It's this concept of small is beautiful. But the larger the organisation grows, the more impersonal it becomes. And so we get this idea that when something's got a really big front, that can have a really big back as well. And I'm attracted by the beauty of these plants, just covered in the crystals of ice. I feel particularly blessed to be able to experience this. So this is another example of the front and the back. You've got day and night, you've got winter and summer, all the rest of it. So the bigger the front, the bigger the back, the more wonderful a person is capable of being, the more challenging they can be. The more delightful an experience can be, the more disturbing it can be. So I just invite you to play with all this. And here's another one. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it, really? And this is something that we often struggle with. So if a person or an animal comes into our life, then we have a beginning. there's a beginning, you can expect there's going to be an end coming along somewhere. And it's this refusal or failure to face up to this aspect of the realities of life that can cause so much suffering. But when we accept, we say, this is how it is, yeah, okay. So, this pet comes into my life, I have these wonderful experiences, and the pet leaves and goes out of this physical existence and off into the multiverse, the multidimensional reality which underpins everything. When we can go into acceptance, that makes life so much easier. So then there's the other one. Everything that turns to an extreme turns into its opposite. This is a really interesting one when you think about it. All sorts of implications. So for example, if I'm active, physically active, then I can become more active and I can run faster and I can run really fast. And if I pour all my energy and my heart and soul into my running, there's going to come a point, if I continue, when I'm going to collapse. I'm going to run out of energy, my muscles will build up with lactic acid, which is one of the products of respiration, and I just conk out, I collapse. Same as overwork. If you've ever overworked, this is a great way to experience the extremes turning into their opposite. The more and more you work, you get to the point you're working and working and working, and then you collapse. You get a cold, you get the flu, you get some kind of an illness, or you just literally fall asleep at your desk. All these things do happen to people. So that's an example of how that can work. So yeah, I thought I'd give you those just to explore and see how you find them fitting in with your life. I have great respect for macrobiotics and macrobiotic philosophy. So thank you very much.